Hey everybody, it is Tuesday night, 10 o'clock. Thanks for tuning in to What's Next on Facebook Live and the WTHR app. I'm Dustin Grove, in for Scott Swan. It is vacation season here at Channel 13. It is post-Memorial Day weekend, which means we're moving a lot of people around, and so I'll be filling in for Scott the next couple of nights as he takes some well-deserved time off. We have some good stuff coming up for you tonight at 11 o'clock. On the heels of the Indy 500, we're going to be talking about a race that involves driverless cars. That's right, race cars without a driver in the cockpit at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Interesting story coming up at 11 o'clock. We're going to preview that, and I also want to know what you think about that coming up in a few minutes. Weigh in. Sean is tracking some rain in the forecast, also temperatures into the 80s, so we should have some good swimming weather coming up this weekend. I also noticed, and maybe you have even posted some pictures on your own Facebook page, my Facebook feed is full of beautiful sunset pictures. Oops, sorry, my volume needs to be turned down here on my phone. There we go. Somehow I missed the beautiful sunset because I was in the newsroom working. I'm really sad about that because, man, it was beautiful out there tonight. Want to begin with the debate, though, over COVID vaccination mandates and this issue of proving you've gotten the shot. IU changed his plan for the fall. Kind of. Students and staff still have to be vaccinated, but they'll no longer be required to prove it. So Alan Carter is working on this story tonight. I want to bring Alan in. Good evening to you, Alan. So is this basically the honor system? How's this going to work?
Kinda. I mean, we're still kind of figuring out how exactly this will work. But, you know, it was about a couple of weeks ago that IU came out and said, hey, we're going to want all of our students, faculty and staff, come the fall semester, will need to be vaccinated. They'll also need to prove it. That got some pushback, not only from some students, but also some state elected officials who said that they had concerns about whether or not that violated the state's recently passed law regarding vaccine passports and government entities. And so, you know, whether or not it should be allowed or whether or not it was legally allowed for a university to impose this on students. Well, today IU came back and said, hey, you know, we're still going to require students and staff to be vaccinated, but you don't necessarily have to prove it. What they will do instead is they'll have a system where people can upload vaccination records, and you know that will kind of serve as your self-check-in, so to speak. You don't have to do that, but they say that if students do that, they will get some sort of soon-to-be-named incentive. That's really what people are wondering. I talked to students today, and they're saying, hey, man, it'd be great if we got a parking pass, a free parking pass, or some free books, or you know, a discount on tuition out of this. Don't quite know if it'll go that far, but that's certainly what people are hoping for at this point.
Yeah, the first thing that popped into my mind was a lottery for free tuition. I don't know if they'll go that far. I doubt it. But yeah, we should learn more about those incentives sometime later this week. What was student reaction to this today, Alan?
Well, I think overwhelmingly, you know, or I should say the majority of people that I talked to, rather, kind of felt like this was a good idea. They said that, hey, whatever it takes to get back to normal. You know, these are students that for the most part have had to sit in class wearing a mask, trying to learn with the mask on. And they said that was a little bit of a distraction. So anything to kind of get them back to normal, that's what they're encouraging. But there are also obviously a subset of students that say, hey, you know, for us, this feels like it's going a little bit too far. We don't think that the university should be forcing us to get vaccinated. In fact, I talked to one student who said he's now considering transferring because of all of this, that he wants to leave. This was at IUPUI. And he'll consider going to a different university. He only has 1 year left. He's a senior, but he said it was really that uncomfortable to him that he was going to consider transferring to a different school.
All right, Alan, look forward to your story tonight at 11. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Let's bring in Sean Ash now. I know, Sean, I mentioned a couple of minutes ago these beautiful sunset pics on Facebook. Got a couple of those for us?
Yeah, I do. And I mean, it's just a small sampling, by the way. And I feel like yourself.
My goodness.
I've been, you know, kind of back in my little cubby here, and people started tweeting me pictures, and I'm like, goodness, I should have gotten out there and caught some. Thankfully, we've got some buttes here. This is from Micah and Anderson. Micah. And Micah tells me that's no filter. That is just straight up what it looked like this evening. Joseph on the south side of Indy, he actually sent me 2 pictures. This is the second one because he said it got better. And our good buddy, Russ Govert.
Oh, Russ.
Yeah, Russ caught this one too. So this was bouncing off this cloud deck. that eventually produces rain around the metro area, and we're starting to get some rain here. And if you haven't followed the forecast, if you know, because of race weekend, and of course yesterday was a holiday, I want to give you the rundown on what to expect. And that is going to be a wet commute tomorrow morning. And that will come with moderate to at times heavy rain and maybe some rumbles of thunder. Now what we have in the morning, the early part of the day, that won't be severe, but it's going to come down heavy. It's going to be cutting right through the metro area the way it looks here. So a slower, soggy commute. And then we'll be waiting and watching to see storms that pop up later in the afternoon and the evening. It's not a high threat of severe weather, but the modeled ingredients that I was looking at suggests there might be just enough twisting in the lower atmosphere and just enough instability that if storms do emerge basically south of 74 and along I-65, that a few of them could rotate. So there is a risk, albeit a low risk, but it's there for this portion. It may actually get pushed a little farther to the north, I think, over the next 18 hours. So we want you to know about that, and then rainfall. And there will be a rather sharp cutoff. If you get into Lafayette, if you get into Monticello, not going to have a whole lot of rain. Metro area probably anywhere from about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, and then 2 to locally 3 inches of rain south and east of Indy. And I hope if you need it, your yard gets it, because the long range pattern after this is more of a summerish and a drier pattern, probably at least for the next couple of weeks once we get through this bout. So you definitely want to soak that one in. And once we get rid of the rain here, we're talking some temps. All right, so that means for the folks that wanted to get into the pools and get into the lakes on Memorial Day weekend, and it's a little too cool, that won't be the case as we get into this weekend. Is going to be turning and burning, my friend.
Good deal. We were at the lake with the kids for a Memorial Day weekend, and they jumped in.
I give them credit.
And then screamed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the air is so dry, you know, you get out of the, it's one of those things where you're in the water, okay, we're cool, but you get out of the water and that dry air makes it feel cooler. So
this weekend will be much more comfortable.
This weekend's going to be a good one.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the world's first head-to-head race with fully autonomous cars, okay? Coming to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So this is called the Indy Autonomous Challenge. It's a 20-lap competition. There's $1 million prize for the university that takes the checkered flag, Purdue Black and Gold, paired with the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. And they're among 30 teams from a number of states, from a number of countries all over the world. They're gearing up for this thing. It's going to be in October at IMS. And the race is, October 23rd. What do you think about that?
That's interesting. So, I mean, are we essentially taking, like, you know, when you grew up, remember you had the cars, right?
Yes.
We're just taking that and we're putting it on the most famous racetrack in the world here.
Yeah. People are kind of weighing in.
And did I hear that? Did you say 1 million?
Yeah, 1 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are the engineering students who've been working at Purdue. They're on the
smarter
team.
than myself, by the way.
Yeah. Partnering with the students at West Point, making up one of, I believe, 14 teams who are doing this.
And that's going to be in October.
Going to be in October.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, you know, this IMS has seen a number of changes since it first opened back in, gosh, more than 100 years ago. Can you imagine the IMS forefathers?
No,
you know,
I mean, but that's
a race with no drivers.
This is going to be something else. I'm interested to see how this is going to play out with the passing. I thought someone chimed in earlier and was like, "How is that racing?" But I think I see what we're saying here. We're doing that on one heck of a grand stage.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The ultimate stage.
The iconic racetrack.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Jenny Runovich has that story coming up tonight at 11 o'clock. On 13 News. She's going to give us some more details on exactly how this thing happens. I know a lot of you are interested in the details, so tune in tonight at 11 o'clock. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, everybody. Thanks for saying hi, and we will see you over on 13 coming up at 11. Good night.